Cool. The other one I thought was really interesting was the art in artificial intelligence. This was another one inside of the AI Bitcoin post that Optimism posted. This one was is it the end of human creativity? This was really interesting. So I read through this one this morning, and let me see if I can. Oh, I translated. Cool. So it just talks about how like artificial intelligence is going to start seeping into um, art, and you're going to start seeing it more at some of these different museums, and it's going to be showcased a little bit more. They did talk about one specific piece of art that was sold. I believe they said it was in 2018, which is this one right here. This was from Pierre Fautry. It was called the Edmond de Bellamy. This was an AI generated portrait in 2018 that got sold almost immediately. I
Looks
think it
like
said, yeah,
crap.
when a work created using artificial intelligence was auctioned at Christie's for the first time, which sold after more than 6 minutes of bidding for 380,000 euros. Shortly after, the same happened with Memories of Transience 2019 by Mario Klingman, which sold at Sotheby's for 46,450 euros. And then it goes on to talk about how artificial intelligence has actually converged in this new kind of creative field. And then they kind of show different like installations that were created with artificial intelligence and how artists are interpreting it and using it in their collections. Really fascinating stuff. Definitely recommend reading. It's a really short read, but it's a good post from. It looks like it's the Madrid Museum of Art. Um, Keyan, what do you think about this kind of stuff?
Well, it looks like the ones that they talked about being sold or maybe bought on like a historical basis. Like I own the,
The first one, yeah.
the first fine art painting that was done by AI because it does not look good. Um, but I could see someone wanting to collect that and collect early pieces of art that were like, especially before the LLM stuff. I don't know. I think you can complain about this kind of stuff or say it's destroying art or doesn't have soul or whatever. I bet you could find similar arguments about the switch from like oil paints to acrylic based paints. And I, all technologies, I think, upset people in a way. And I think art is not defined, I think, by the medium. So if they're using AI, I think they can still produce art, and someone will, if they're good, if they have taste, someone will value it, and yeah, that's what I think.
I would be interested to ask you a question because it popped in my head. Obviously, there's going to be like if you have an artist, like an already famous artist, and then they do like a AI generated type of portrait or something, or incorporate it in some way that's a useful tool or whatever. I think obviously it's going to sell. But the question that popped in my head when I read this article was kind of more akin to like, is it possible to do like an LLM of a sort or create some sort of like version of like a chat GBT thing that only does art, like making it just an artist, like say you got the world's best art and you like put it inside this kind of big LLM of a sort, and all it did was produce art, and then the person who's the artist then uses that to create the art. Not saying that he's using ChatGPT 4 or OpenAI. Maybe he makes his own version of that or whatever. But is that possible to do?
Yeah, I think you could see people doing that. I think there was an early AI company that focused primarily on images. I forget their name. It's been so long since because all the LLMs now are like multimodal. And can do images and video and stuff along with the LLM stuff. But I think they're called Stable Diffusion, or maybe that's the technique. I forget exactly. But they were focused specifically on generating images and art. But I think you'll see, yeah, lots of specialization. And I think the like terminal state of a lot of this stuff is us creating intelligences to suit our own needs on perhaps on like a per need basis, not necessarily a general intelligence, but perhaps very specific ones. That's like kind of the agentize everything kind of view. But I could see that happening just because it's useful to have constrained devices. Like I don't know if I want my pet cat to have an IQ of 220, you know? Like I kind of like that it just kind of wants to lay around and purr and get pet, and you know, maybe maybe I prefer it could use a toilet, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind went to when I read this. Was like I could see a world where these these places have their own sort of like, I don't want to call it a chop shop because that kind of feels a little bit slanderish, but their own sort of creative like LLM of a sort that, you know, creates the best works and then they release it in their own kind of like
Where the art is the
the
LLM or
exhibit.
yeah,
Yeah, they
the
release it
model
with their
creation.
own exhibit, and then it's like, and then that's just another. Maybe it's with other artists as well, but maybe this there's like a certain lane where it's just like it's doing its own thing. So I could see that kind of like what's similar, like what kind of Spotify and some of these other like music people are doing already with like they're creating their own musical artists and then kind of lumping in with the rest of the. So you can kind of see that like I can see that kind of happening.
Mm,
So
see that.
it would be interesting though to see how that's going to play out though, but because I can see people also getting tired of that or not wanting that too as well.
Yeah, I could see that too. I
But
don't,
yeah, it got me thinking about all sorts of things when I saw this.
yeah, I just haven't listened to much AI music. I wonder. Maybe I haven't and just didn't know. But I would negatively affect it, I think, if I knew it was like not a human being. It's like who am I connecting? Who's on the other side of this? Because I kind of feel like when I'm listening to music or art, I'm always thinking about like what's on the other side of this medium.
Yeah, that's why the in-person stuff is far more important these days. I think, at least for me, that I've come to realize, like the in-person stuff is. I think it's going to be far more expensive to do in-person stuff than it is going to be to like do the virtual stuff. I think it's just going to go even higher and higher and higher. Like, I think people are under. What do you say? Like, I think people are over on the other side versus this side. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll see.